Hello, everybody. My name is Guilherme, and I'm based in Porto.
And my name is Dora Silva, and I'm based in Figueira da Foz.
We met halfway in Aveiro, that's what you can see in the picture, to tell you a little bit about our country, Portugal. As you can see in the map, we are divided in 7 regions in the mainland, and we have 2 archipelagos, or autonomous regions, Açores and Madeira, in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. A small rectangle by the sea in the southwesternmost corner of Europe, bordering only with Spain, but with a coastline over 2.6 thousand kilometers. Actually, wherever you are in Portugal, we are never more than 1 hour and a half from the sea. We have a area over 92,000 square kilometers, but this is just 5% of the Portuguese territory, meaning that 95% of Portugal is water. Indeed, Portugal has the fifth largest exclusive economic zone within Europe and the third largest within the EU, with more than 1.7 million square kilometers of Atlantic Ocean to take care of. We have almost 11 million inhabitants, out of which 5.2% are foreign nationals. That's in 2021, but this percentage has been increasing in the past few years. We are very much used for centuries already to multicultural contact, and we are, as a rule, welcoming to people from other countries. About our official language, you probably don't know, but Portuguese is spoken by over 260 million people all around the world. It's the official language of 9 countries. And for sure, a must if you want to integrate smoothly in Portugal, not only with your employers, but also in the Portuguese way of living. We can also provide with some tips on where to find the best learning options for you, either online or on-site, in your country or already in Portugal. You just need to contact us. In our little country, you can find a lot of diversity, both in terms of landscape and lifestyle, and all of this in very short distances. From all the lovely beaches along the coast, some of them with wild waves great for surfing, to mountains with snow, extensive vineyards, lagoons, and sleeping volcanoes, namely in the islands, Açores and Madeira, to city life, mostly in the metropolitan areas around Lisbon and Porto. This also allows you plenty of choice on where to live, depending on your possibilities. For example, whether you can work remotely or in an hybrid system or only on site, and your preferences and expectations. Whether you are looking for a quieter local community-based lifestyle or the city buzz and being close to public utilities and vibrating social life. If you decide to live in the big cities, you must of course be aware of the cost of living, incredibly high house rents, and all of the stress daily commuting to work may bring you. But that's up to you. The diversity also reflects itself in the food and drink. One of the best things you will discover in different regions in Portugal. Believe me, our food is just amazing. You will find from lighter to heavier dishes, both meat, like cozido, tripas, feijoada, for example, fish, like caldeirada, codfish, and its 1001 ways of cooking it, sardines, cataplana, etc. And of course, seafood, like ameijoas, abelhão pato, sapateira, and with a strong presence of vegetables and fresh salads, but also great desserts and pastry, most of them with lots of eggs and sugar and cinnamon and almond and everything that's good. The good old pastéis de nata are only the most worldwide famous. And of course, don't forget our wines. Due to the mild weather and to being nearby the sea, outdoor activities and the practice of water and other outdoor sports are always a possibility. But we like to party, and in the summer you have quite a lot of reasons to go for a night out. Popular saints festivities and almost every city and town from June onwards with plenty of music, dancing, and of course, food and drink. Portugal is also a very friendly country for digital nomads and remote workers. As a matter of fact, in the last few years, we have had 8 cities in the top 100 world ranking of best places to work. We have a very good coverage of Wi-Fi and communication technology around the country. Internet and communications package prices are quite affordable, and we have plenty of co-working spaces, also in little towns, and digital nomad networking and services. And, as you know, we're home to the Web Summit in Europe, at least up until 2028. That was a 10-year contract. Some curiosities about Portugal you probably never heard of. The Japanese tempura, this technique of deep frying food in flour and egg, as well as the piri piri chili sauce you use, for instance, with chicken, were actually introduced by Portuguese merchants and navigators. And the Hawaiian ukulele is inspired in Portuguese chords instrument. It's called cavaquinho. In 2022, Portugal held over 58% of cork worldwide exports, followed at a distance by Spain and France. So we are the cork guys. Uh, the largest wave ever surfed was in Portugal. It was 24 meters high and was surfed by a Brazilian surfer in 2017. The famous Portuguese pirate Bartholomew is well known for inventing the first pirate code, which was a code for conduct for governing pirates. And we have more where this came from. So regarding our labor market and economy, being a small economy highly dependent on exports, nearly half of the Portuguese GDP, and mostly on tourism. Portugal is also highly influenced by the international and European trade and growth evolving trends. However, after the pandemic, our economy has been showing some dynamics and has recovered at a slightly faster pace than the EU. When you're looking for a job in Portugal, it's important you are aware that 99.9% of our companies are small and medium enterprises. 96% have less than 10 workers, and these enterprises represent 77.6% of the employment in Portugal. As a whole, only less than 900 large companies have more than 250 workers. Some of these are the most prepared to welcome job seekers from abroad, naturally. Employment in service activities represents nearly three-quarters of total employment. This should somehow be taken in account on your approaching strategy to employers. Also, our current unemployment rate is 64%. Is still one of its lowest since Portugal has a democracy, which we have been for 50 years already. This means that many sectors and employers in almost all occupations are finding it hard to fill in their vacancies. The most critical needs by Portuguese employers are in the sectors you can see here on the slide. Within the customer service cluster and also in the shared service centers, where your specific language skills make the difference, the most searched languages are, apart from English, which is the working language in most companies, French, German, Spanish, Italian, very often Dutch as well. Sometimes some specific needs, for example, Norwegian, Finnish, Swedish, Danish, or Russian, Ukrainian, Arab, Turkish, a lot of different languages. Within the healthcare sector, the most difficult profiles to recruit are medical doctors and nurses, but there are also significant recruitment needs in other occupations. You must also bear in mind that professional recognition and Portuguese language skills will be required for you to be able to practice in Portugal. Regarding tourism, hospitality, and catering and agriculture, recruitment needs still have a seasonal character, even though high season has become larger and larger. Nowadays, from March to October, even early November. But you also have systematic and growing recruitment needs by companies with construction, engineering, and more specialized operational jobs, from carpentry to pipe fitters and stonemasons, for example. In transports, mostly trucks, lorry, and bus drivers, all of them usually requiring specific driving licenses, but also mechanics in the car repair segment. Also in industry, like biopharma companies, aeronautics, automotive, metallomechanics, renewable energies, but also more traditional industries such as textile and footwear. The elderly care. Portugal is being the most aged country in the EU, as well as a few more technical profiles with intermediate qualifications in different sectors. So that's what we really do need. Regarding some unemployment, you must also bear in mind that in some areas or profiles, just like in your country, it's more difficult to find new job opportunities, mostly if you're not a Portuguese speaker. Also, within seasonal activities, mostly hotels and restaurants, but also agriculture, starts to slow down in end October, November, leading to a period of unemployment which can go up until February, March.
Okay, about working conditions, you should expect 14 wages per year. That includes holiday and Christmas bonus. There is minimum wage by law, that's 820 euros per month, but the average salary is much higher. You also are entitled to a meal subsidy, and you may have extra hours rate and compensations and travel expenses, for example. For Social Security, you will pay 11% and your employer will pay around 24%. If you're an independent worker, you should expect to pay at least 24.1% of Social Security. As for taxes, the rates will depend on your annual income. They vary from 13% to 48% a year. Also, we have three main work contract types. So that's sem termo, that means indefinite. Termo certo, temporary contract. Recibos verdes if you are self-employed. You should expect to work 40 hours a week and you have 22 days of annual leave plus 13 bank holidays and perhaps 1 or 2 more days of municipality holidays. There are some links that you can check with more information. About our working culture, all goes around coffee time. That is the break to enjoy with your co-workers. So if you need to rest a little between your hard work, you can have this coffee, maybe an espresso or maybe another kind of drink based on coffee. Also, if you are working for a small company, you should expect a family environment. So you will know not only your colleagues, but probably also the company's suppliers and clients. You will get to be invited for lunch with your colleagues, maybe chill out after work, maybe for football match game. And this is also some social integration with Portuguese culture. The working culture is based on a clear chain of command. So you will know your role in the company. There is usually a CEO, maybe there is a head of department, a chief of section. So that depends on each company. There are trade unions and professional associations that will protect your rights as a worker. There may be also collective agreements for certain areas that state what your rights are. And these are some of our working culture elements. So also some job search tips. You can use the job portals, maybe start for EURES portal. EURES portal contains the job vacancies that are registered in our public employment service, but you also have other job portals that you can check out. Also, we are used to LinkedIn profiles, so up to 40% of Portuguese companies use LinkedIn profile. Also, you can check the company's websites. Sometimes they have the available positions, or you can just prepare your spontaneous application based with this information and study the company from the company's website. There are also some job fairs. You can find some events on the European Job Days. We organize every year Work in Portugal, that is in the end of November. But there are also job fairs in universities, municipalities, and other organizations. If you are already living in Portugal, if you have an address in Portugal, you should register at your local job center. Maybe if you're benefiting from unemployment benefit already, you can bring the U2 form and register in a maximum of 7 days with our pass. You will need an ID card or a passport, or if you're non-EU citizen, you will need a residence permit or a job search visa. Also, private employment agencies and temporary work agencies with their websites. You can also check the vacancies available. These are regulated agencies, so make sure they are recognized as such. Also, you can use your network, friends and family to find out more about the companies that are recruiting and also some information that might be useful for you. You can search in the newspapers section, employment section for ads. And sometimes you can find some small ads at the shop windows or at the supermarket boards asking for employers. The usual application has a motivation letter as with the CV. This CV can be or not linked to your LinkedIn profile, but the CV should be in a reverse chronological order. They have different models, maybe a functional model, an infographic, or a creative, or even a Europass CV. It shouldn't be more than 2 pages. Please use a professional photo. Also, don't forget to mention your international dial number, and don't forget your language skills. As for the motivation letter, it is usually the email that goes along with your CV. It should have 2 or 3 paragraphs with some keywords. So it's good to make certain research about the company to see how you can link to the company and value your CV and your training experience and skills. Make sure you know where to address your application. Also, that's important. And be confident. Do some personal branding. Talk about your motivation, your achievements, and also your availability for an interview and start working. Okay, that's the EURES Portugal team. So we are about 30 EURES advisors. You can find our contacts in the link tree. And here you can find also some information, detailed information about living and working conditions and all the other information related to moving to Portugal, namely wage calculation, learning Portuguese, and so on. You can find some testimonials and the way to contact us. For instance, you can ask for online advice. You can chat with us every Friday morning, and you can follow us in the social media and know all about our events. Don't forget, we will organize Work in Portugal at the end of November. So that's it. Thank you for your attention and see you soon. Bye.
Bye.